Hi, guys. Happy Monday. I wanted to start off by showing you some of the ideas that some of your friends have come up with. I don't know if all of you had a chance to see what everyone had suggested by the time everyone had a chance to post. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through so you can get an idea of what some of your friends would like to learn about. Maybe you have some similar interests or some similar curiosities. Um, I know that some of you messaged me on Google Classroom and also said that for some reason, if Padlet wasn't working, you told me there. So I did get those ideas too. But for today, I thought it would be fun to start off with Milani's interest, which was she said she wanted to learn about how toys are made. So I thought that would be a really fun one to start with. First of all, there are so many different kinds of toys. So I actually I'm sharing with you a video to how Legos are made. I tried to think of something that I thought, for the most part, everybody would like, girls and boys. So you're going to watch the video on how Legos are made. Pay very close attention because once you're done watching that, there's a little quiz about some of the information that you would have heard on that video. After you've done that, you're going to go to a Google slide where you get to write all about your favorite toy. So it's going to start off by looking like this. You'll have to go in and add in the extra details once you have decided what you want your toy to be about. So I wanted to talk about one of my favorite toys from when I was a kid, which are still around today. I don't know if any of you have them, and it's an Etch-a-Sketch. And then down here, please make sure, so a lot of you have been forgetting to write your names. You're just going to write your name, who it was created by. And then let's just go through quickly so you can see what kind of information you're going to have on each slide. So the first one is the invention story of whatever your toy is. So I would look up how an Etch-a-Sketch was made. So I'm going to show you the video that I used for that in a minute. But then in the invention story, you would talk about when it was invented. The inspiration is like, how did that person, the inventor, get the idea for it? Were there any challenges? A lot of times, you'll know, especially for those of you in STEAM, that a lot of times when you have an idea for something, you might try it 20 times and it still doesn't work. A lot of the inventors of some of these toys have gone through 20 times a day of different challenges. So it takes many, many, many tries before you get something right. The next one is just fun facts about your toy. If there's something else that maybe wasn't included in the invention story that you wanted to add there, I would just use maybe like a bulleted list there. And then some of your favorite things to do. So maybe if I was to write about an Etch-a-Sketch, I might talk about maybe some of the different pictures I might like to draw, or some of the different scenes I might like to use, some of the little strategies I could use to make different shapes, things like that. So I'm quickly just going to show you some of the video so that you can see how I got that information onto my slide. So this video is for my favorite toy, which was an Etch-a-Sketch. And just a little tip, I like to put on the closed caption.
Andre Cassagne passed away. He was a French inventor, kite designer, and toy maker. His name isn't a household word, but one of his creations is known around the world and is as popular today as it was when it was invented more than 50 years ago.
Oh.
In the 1950s, Cassagne...
50 years ago, I just heard it. So I'm going to make this small so I can add that into my inspiration story. So I do want this part done in complete sentences. I'm going to make my font a little bigger. So I'm going to say the Etch-a-Sketch was invented over 50 years ago. So this tab should still be up top. So I'm just going to click back into it and then keep going.
Cassagne was replacing a light switch in a factory that used fine powdered metals. The story goes that he used a pencil to write on a translucent decal covered in aluminum powder. He noticed that the pencil displaced the powder and revealed the writing on the back of the decal.
Okay, so that's a little bit about the story. That's how he got the inspiration. So I actually forget exactly what it said, so I'm just going to back it up a little bit, and I encourage you to do the same thing.
A translucent decal covered in aluminum. As it was when it was invented more than 50 years ago. In the 1950s, Cassagna was replacing a light switch in a factory that used fine powdered metals.
He was replacing a light switch. So I'm going to go back and say the Etch-a-Sketch was invented over 50 years ago. The inventor, his name was Hanyu, it said, was working in a factory, or I'll say where they made light switches. And, oh geez, noticed that it used a light powdery material. He wrote his name and noticed that, okay, I'm going to go back and just make it a little smaller, but I do want to go back and just double check that I have my facts, right? Because if we're teaching somebody else, we want to make sure that we're sure about them, right? He used a fine powdered metals. The story goes that
he used a pencil to write on a translucent decal covered in aluminum powder. He noticed that the pencil displaced the powder and revealed the writing on the back of the decal. Intrigued with the idea, he worked in his spare time to come up with the L'Écran Magique, or magic screen. It was a pad you could draw.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm always going to go back and review what I've written. The Etch-a-Sketch was invented over 50 years ago. The inventor, Hanyu, was working in a factory where they made light switches and noticed that it used a light powdery material. He wrote his name and noticed that they used the word displaced. It means that like the particles moved aside. It displaced the material, and his image showed on the other side. This gave him the inspiration for a magic, I'm going to put that in quotes, magic tablet. And if you continue to read or to watch that video, he goes on to talk about how he liked the idea that kids wouldn't need to use pencil and paper. You could just keep on creating, shake to erase, and then continue going. Okay. I would go on to add the fun facts about my toy, my favorite things to do with them. But remember that these, especially this last slide, should definitely be in a narrative format with complete sentences. This one can be bullets. So just to remind you, you click in the box. Bullets aren't always shown. So I always go and click up these three little dots where it says more. And then here are my bullets. So I might say like, let's see. And Etch-a-Sketch needs to be shaken in order for the image to be erased. Now, I continued watching that video, so I know that this is a fact from the video. Please make sure that you're getting facts from the source that you are showing, because we don't want to include our own schema there. This shouldn't be a place where we just write about things that we already know. These should be facts from your resource. But down here, this is where you can write all about the different things that you do, schema that you have, maybe ideas. And of course, the most fun part is that you can always add in pictures. So I'll do it on this slide since I have a little bit of space. Remember that you can go up to Insert, Image, and then search the web. And then on this side, it might not come up because it's very specific. Ooh, let's see. Awesome. Check this one out. I wish I could draw that on an Etch-a-Sketch. Mine is more like one big house. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. You could do a couple along the bottom if you'd like. You can add one here on the main page. Have fun with it. We only have 9, I think, full days left of school. So I really want you to have fun with the activities that you're responsible for the remainder of the week, okay? So I cannot wait to see what you guys decide to do with your favorite toys. I'm hoping to learn something new, and I hope that you teach some of your friends something new.